Good morning to you. Good morning to you. It's me, John Bosley. Video diary, 30th of May. It's about 9:20 in the morning, and it's a indifferent day. Can't make its mind up, but it's not pouring down, so it's good. Hope you're all well. If you're watching this, thank you. This is not a private. It is a private diary, as they all have been, but some are released because people need to know what's going on. If you've watched it, if you have been kind enough to give time and watch any of the rants, whinges, and God knows what that I put on here, thank you. If you've made comments, and I've got to say I've had one indifferent comment, I suppose, which was kind of, you clearly didn't get it. That's fine. To be honest with you, I don't get what's going on here. Well, I do, but I don't want to accept it. It's as simple as that. I don't want to accept that the country that I was raised in, and inevitably nailed my colours to the mast because it was a what's the word? A pagan. Not a pagan. There's a word. An example. That's not the word I wanted, but ready? Come this way. This way, this way, this way, and fly like a bird. Look at that. Ever so nearly. First of all, I say again, if people don't get what I've been harping on about, and I'm a whinging twat, and I should know better, and I'm a dickhead, and I'm all the things I've been labelled as. That's fine. I wouldn't blame you. People much closer to me have come to that conclusion erroneously, but the thing to remember here, guys, is that everything that I've been accused of, bar nothing, when it's gone to a court, whatever, I've always been punished. I've occasionally been treated lightly when the magistrate has on occasions, particularly with me, my brother, the war with me and my brother, which I didn't know I was even fighting for about 8-9 years into it. Jesus Christ. Imagine going to a battle with your hands tied behind your back and a blindfold on that you put on yourself because you don't want to see that you're being shat on. We've all been shat on, and we've all shat on people. We're living in really weird times, guys. I would suggest, again, please. I mean, I've inadvertently into the legal system again. I was kind of free of it. I was going to do the probation and just get the hell out of here. That's probably not going to happen now for two reasons. One, as expected, if I get a custodial sentence and the police are diligently leaving no stone unturned to get as much damning evidence of my behaviour, what they won't look into, what they will not acknowledge, what they will not accept, because it doesn't suit the legal system as we know it in what we now laughingly call a country. We're not a country, we're just an area of the world where some people who are seemingly becoming increasingly non-vital, shall we say. So if you don't believe me, check out Neil Oliver. He's on GB News. I'm not a fan of GB News, but Neil Oliver's got a lot of really, really on the money things to say. And he's got no axe to grind. Why would he? He's an impeccable character, an academic, a presenter, a public figure. Unlike all the other public figures we have, there's only a few public figures I have any of remotest respect for. Certainly not Sunak and Johnson, and I mean, where did these retards come from? I wanted to remember the name of that rugby player, the rugby league player, who did the big, he did loads of marathons on a daily basis, not loads on a daily basis, but over a period he did marathons for a teammate and close friend of his who had motor neurone disease, I think it was. And the guy, I mean, enough said, he's a rugby player, so he's probably a unit. I don't think he's a massive guy. I wish I could remember his name. He was so inspiring. And they did a documentary about it. And this guy's obviously a rugby player, so he trains, he's physical, he's hard, he's woo. But the humility and the kindness, that exuded from this person. And I looked and I thought, we have got people like that in this country walking about. And the best we can do to represent us on the world stage is a bumbling buffoon and systematic liar and deviant Johnson. Theresa May was no different. Keir Starmer's, they're all the same. They all come from the same system that is increasingly becoming more dystopian. Bottom line. Anyway, back to me. I'm going to do another couple of videos because I'm short of time, and I think that if the police get their way with the magistrates or the board or the tribunal or the Spanish Inquisition or whatever it is, I mean, I'm not saying that all magistrates are bad. They're not. But they are all part of the same system, and they're not hoodwinked. They're not fooled as such, but they are conducting themselves in the belief that they are serving a purpose for the system that they have so much faith in. The problem they have is that system is probably been arrived at by these people. I know some magistrates personally. I worked recently with a guy who's applying to be a magistrate. He's an okay guy. He validated some contractual documents for me. He's an ex-fireman, and he's desperate to become a magistrate. Having said that, having worked with him, I mean, knowledgeable, wow, brilliant, really good, really knows his onions. But the amount of times I had to get between him and somebody else and calm him down and tell him to cool his jets, and because we were on a very acrimonious job. That was the environment, and occasionally it did blow up. So I'm not saying he's unsuitable. What I'm saying is he's human, and he can be fooled and duped and angered and whatever, depends on the information he gets. As can anybody. And magistrates are no different. There's no justice system in the UK. There is not a justice system. There really hasn't ever been one. Let me give you some examples, okay? I don't know, 10 years ago, Grenfell people lived in flats that the representatives should have checked for fire safety. They didn't. Loads of people died. It was a horrific event, and I only use that as an analogy because I worked at a public school, building a science block at Latimer School in Hammersmith, which is just round the corner from Grenfell. So I used to look at the tower every day before it went up in flames, and I've seen it since. It's a testament to how you and me and people above us as well, people who've done well, people who've got businesses, people who've sorted themselves out, no problem with that. Business people, great, but we're all being had. We're all being lied to on a monumental scale about everything. And do you know what? I'm sorry, guys. Once you get a little scratch of this, and you can't dismiss it. You can't unknow it either, and it's quite a pain, to be honest with you, because there's nothing I would love more. Drunken, wife-beating, psychopathic, lunatic, moron that I am. There's nothing I'd love more than just to be completely oblivious to this, completely ignorant, like a lot of people are, and probably want to be honest with you, because it's not good. So I would suggest you listen to people like Neil Oliver, GB News, Gary Waterman. That is important, please. Gary Waterman, I believe he's ex-Met. He's ex-police anyway. 18 years. He definitely was in the Dorset police, and he accidentally stumbled because he was getting a bit of grief from some sort of legal thing over a commercial thing, a property or something that he was releasing or whatever. He unearthed all these things about who's connected to who, and corporation's house, and how it's all a big fiddle and money laundering. Now this guy is a Christian. I don't consider myself a Christian. I consider myself sort of spiritual. I think every religion just says don't be a twat. That's what I can see. So just don't be a twat. I have been a twat when I'm pushed and I'm frightened. Yeah, I get frightened. Even people who look like this get frightened. I'm 5'9", by the way. I'm not Rocky Marciano. I have learned how to box, and I have learned a few things to protect myself. And the world I've lived in, anybody would have done the same thing. Did I enjoy doing it? Yes, the training was nice, kept me fit, and I have had to use it occasionally. In one very, very, very potentially serious incident, which was definitely not of my making, in Abu Dhabi, which is a standard procedure that youngsters in Abu Dhabi, Emiratis, will often go Westerners, either on the road or in some way to garner a response. They then call the police, and you're in a world of shit. I won't go into what happened, but it was an absolute literal, not lifesaver, but I would have gone to prison. I would have been expelled from the country. I was in a very lucrative job at the time. Didn't work out because of the recession. This is 2008, and I was working on Etihad Towers in Abu Dhabi. Yeah, so the world's a sort of perilous place. Yeah. So I'm going to do a couple of videos later about how the police have conducted themselves, good and bad. I've made no secret of the fact that I've got a lot of time for certain police people and the way they conduct themselves, but equally there is a flip side to that coin, as we are increasingly having revealed to us. And it shouldn't be a shock. It shouldn't be a shock. You know, what more do you need? Let's put a caveat in there first, okay? Without being me, if I was just an ordinary bloke, and I don't mean I'm extraordinary. I'm not. I'm an idiot. I'm all the things that, you know. I'm labelled. I have no validity now. Come here. Oh, smashed it! Clever girl. That was clever. That was. Timed it right. Everything was kosher. She's so clever. Good girl. All right, do a little victory dance. That's it. Go on, now drop it. Good girl. Yeah, Neil Oliver. There's a girl, a woman. Sorry, Sharon. I think she's called Sharon. Sharon Oliver, I think she's called. But she was Greater Manchester Police many years. Very successful. Very, very well respected. Did a lot of work in Vice and you know, really some hardcore stuff. That was not an intended pun. I meant hardcore stuff with policing and nitty-gritty horrible policing. And she's now coming out and saying that, you know, the way the police, this is kind of a sanitised version of, I suppose, if my understanding is that the police are borderline colluding with child trafficking organisations. And this child trafficking thing seems to be rearing its head time and time again within our own system. John Wedger, Jon Wedger, again, ex-Met Police, highly respected. His life was put in danger when he blew the whistle on the fact that he then, during the course of investigations he worked in Vice, came up with, you know, houses that were frequently used, houses used by very prominent people in high positions, police, armed forces, obviously. The care system, that's what an ironic phrase. The care system is basically a conveyor belt of people for the illicit sex industry and for child trafficking.